We are recording. Arturo, if you have the first item.
Yeah. So first is to say welcome to the weekly ecosystem team meeting, right? So I have 4 points in the agenda. So the first one is one thing that maybe we can improve as a team is to make the calendar invitation open to everyone. So maybe we can move that one to the GitLab team meeting calendar, as I think other teams do, right? Or I'm not sure if we should keep this like as small as it is, or just open. But yeah, so feel free to do whatever we consider is the best. Next thing is I'd like to discuss one of the so we have this epic that is the group level integration with Jira, and so we are trying to resolve one issue that we have, that is the different configurations for Jira. Right now is the configuration at the project level, and then we have the service template that is something that is like the default settings that they are going to be pre-populated for the new projects. And we are talking about to have projects like the integration settings at the project level, at the group level, and then at the service template. So it's maybe to discuss a little bit to understand, probably with Patrick here, what are the thoughts about that and how do you expect that works. I was talking with Nick yesterday, and I think that for us makes sense to have the precedent, like first project level, then group level, and then the service template for me should behave in the same way that the other levels. So it's not just a template to pre-populate the thing, but it's just like a global setting. So changing the behavior a little bit from pre-populate settings to just have a global setting. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so at a really high level, I think that what I would like to see from a UX standpoint is more parity between the project integration, the group integration, and the instance integration, whatever we end up calling them. Because right now, instance integration is service templates, right? But like, I think that across the board, I'd really like to see a pretty close parity in how those features work and how they interact with an individual project. Because I think what we see today is there's such a disparate connection between how projects work and how service templates work. Although they seem to do pretty approximately the same thing, like where is that data getting applied and when is it getting applied, and like do we need to have to reapply it on an ongoing basis? It'd be much simpler if that worked much more like an active integration were. And as we meet in the middle with group level integration, I think that's where it really becomes key to make sure that there's some parity. So that we see, if I add it at the instance level, all that is the scope of what it applies to. If I add it at the group level, it's just a difference in scope. And if I add it at the project level, it's just a very small scope, right? So that's generally what I'd like to see out of that. As far as how we prioritize which one comes first, I'll leave that to my betters to decide. Like, I don't know where it makes sense, because I think that's more of an engineering concern. I'd like to get all of them done in the near-term future. But I think how we approach it and where we go from an order of operations standpoint is more along the lines of, I don't know what the backend code looks like. I don't know where it makes the most sense to start. Maybe it makes the most sense to start at service templates and fix it at service templates, and then migrate that to the group, and then migrate that to a project. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think my goal here and my personal take on it is purely around, I want to see a more consistent user experience. I want it to be more easy to use. I want to require less clicks from a user to actually get to the end game of having that thing integrated at the level that they want to.
So for me, there is one thing in the product. We are going to change the behavior of one thing that is the service template that right now is something that you enter the details and that's it, and you have the details pre-populated in other places. So now we want to change that into like a instance level settings, right? So it's a kind of a change of the paradigm that we have right now. I think it's better and it's a good change, but having that in mind, I can start to investigate what are the implications of all of that, because maybe we cannot change the behavior just for the Jira thing. Maybe, if service template become instance settings or instance level settings, is like that should apply for all the services, not just for one specific. Right. So having that in mind, I have an issue to investigate what are the implications of all of this, and maybe some thinking in the architectural level, how this look like, how big or how difficult, or different steps that we have to do. Cool.
Awesome. Cool. And if, just to underscore, if there are any places where you'd like clarification, want to better understand what my end goal is, or what other use cases or workflows you'd like to see, please let me know. I'm happy to add more color and clarification.
Yes, I have a very quick question.
Shoot.
So there was, in one of the discussions, there was this proposal of having like multiple Jira instances applied to like a separate subset of groups or projects or instances.
Mm-hmm.
So do you consider that like a valid use case?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different open issues around that. There have been, if anyone's interested, I can go track them down and link to them here. But there are definitely a few. So I am aware of multiple Jira integrations at the project level. I am aware of an issue for multiple service templates for a similar service, right? To being able to have like 3 different service templates, and then a user can select from which one to use. There are definitely some asks for that. It's not something that we've gotten a ton of user interest in. Clearly, some people are interested, but it hasn't gotten highly voted on, so it just hasn't been prioritized. But it's definitely something that we should probably consider over time, especially as we try to address larger and larger organizations. Somebody who has multiple Jira instances would find it extremely valuable to be able to have all of those integrated at the instance level. I think it has a lot of really interesting implications. So if you think of it in terms of also access control, that may allow like a Jira admin or a GitLab admin to integrate their 3 Jira instances, right, at the instance level for GitLab. And then the individual project owners can just pick from which one is relevant to them without having to have access to those credentials, which is valuable. So there are some good use cases for it. I can definitely see it being interesting, but it's just not something that we're looking at prioritizing at this time.
Okay, because my ask was because like it could technically like change the implementation, because like if you look at it, you could actually create like this kind of integration, but you don't actually say that it's for a project or a group or instance. You just create an integration, and you then have the option to scope it to a particular whatever the scope of this is, and then you can create multiple ones. It's basically the concept of apps in Slack. You can create multiple instances of the same app, and like you can have multiple webhooks and etc. So that's
I think
one way of doing it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's probably something that needs to get noted in acceptance criteria. I think that's noted in the issue. Maybe it's not. Yeah, that's a really good consideration for us to take into account. Just like keeping in mind that we may want to be able to do this in the future is really valuable. Make sure it's like a class that can be repeatable.
I definitely encourage you to make note of those comments somewhere in an issue as well, Justin. I think it's a good discussion to have, and we don't want to lose track of it.
Okay, sure. Let me just add it to the agenda, and I can add it to the issue later.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, and I added this link to the issue that Arturo was referring to do the background research or look into how things work on the back end and think about how what we might need to do to accomplish group level integration. Yeah, looks like Arturo, you have the next item.
Yeah. So the other day I was searching GitLab and Jira, and I found like a marketing page, I think, that is that one, and I think it's outdated. So basically, they are linking to different issues and subscribe to this or to that, and yeah. So I'm not sure if we have to update this, or it's already updated, or
no, that's on me. I need to go update that. I know, for example, I had it somewhere and I need to make sure to go do it. The GitLab group level integration, that issue just got promoted to an epic, so that no longer goes to the appropriate link. So I need to go update that. But it's, yeah, I can take an action item to do that.
cool. It's just that I didn't know about that, about that page, and it was, wow, we have this information here.
Yeah, we've got some of these marketing pages that are we should probably be linking to more often and making sure they're top of mind. That's a good note. Okay.
And the next thing from me is sometimes in the mail request we can find like things like, okay, this is a ticket in Zendesk about different things. Like, for example, in this specific someone is talking about having feedback post-mortem discussion, and it's more like a general question that I don't know about GitLab, like where we can find, these conversations for most post-mortems, or, different things related to that. Because sometimes we have information, but then we don't keep track or link into the issue. So this is just one example, but it's something that I don't know if should we have like developers access to Zendesk, or should we have access to different postmortems, or how we can improve that, or to Salesforce, for example, that there are other links that we don't have access, I think.
So I will say, all of the things that you listed, you are absolutely welcome to and encouraged to have access to. It's as simple as putting in an access request. It's really straightforward. Yeah, and I think Zendesk by default, everyone has access to, I think now through Okta. So you ought to be able to get into Zendesk. I may be wrong on that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you should definitely have access to Zendesk. Salesforce is a little more complicated. We do tend to, it's not that we restrict the number of licenses, but we pay per seat. So we don't have a ton of access into Salesforce for other people. But if it's something that would be valuable and important to you, then absolutely you can get access to Salesforce. You just have to ask through an access request, and then Sales Ops can get you in there.
So maybe
I just tried for Zendesk, and it just goes straight to Okta.
Okay.
So we should have access.
Yeah, Okta should be able to get you in.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, I'm just curious, I'm looking at the issue and seeing that there was going to be this call scheduled, and yeah, I don't think we we got any update on it. Do we know if that call happened and what was discussed?
I mean, I have a merge request open and very close to be merged, so I don't have a problem with this issue. But just maybe Felipe can give an update on the call if it was.
Sorry, update about what?
There is in this issue there is something like a scheduled call with a customer, but I'm not sure if because you have some comments like 2 weeks ago about related to this, but I'm not sure if you were involved at that time or what happened at the end with that.
Actually, nothing happened. No one pinged me. But if you still need that, I can definitely help.
No. So as I say, the issue is completely clear to me, and the merge request is near to be merged. So hopefully we can include that in this iteration 12.4. So it's fine.
Cool.
Right.
I'll make a note to follow up just in that thread saying that you have an MR in there and making sure that that customer is aware and good with that. Cool. All right. Let's see. Justin has the next item.
Yeah. So it was just like a very small question. I was looking at the contribute like docs, and registration starts like next week. Yay. And I saw some of the teams like discuss if they should have like extra time before and after the contribute. So that's pretty much the same question for our team. Like, what do you guys think? And
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I did some more information there about the contribute because I attended. So take that, yeah. But basically, the company sponsors the cost during the event. After the event, I guess it's probably going to be difficult. But if everybody arrives early, definitely you can do something because everybody is already here. So yeah. But the other information I just provided there. So sorry, Patrick, you had something to say?
No, I was just going to say that sounds awesome. Let's make sure we do it. Great. I can't wait to meet all of you in person.
Yeah. So definitely there will be conference rooms available for booking as a team. If you have a work session or some collaborative session, and also there is budget for team fun. So think about that. Nick needs to schedule that for the whole team.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is some dedicated team time, and then anything before or after would be extra. Cool. Yeah, I guess we'll get a discussion going about that. It would be great to figure out everyone's schedules and try to get some extra team time in. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Justin. Good time to start thinking about it. And yeah, thank you, Justin and Arturo, for being proactive about adding agenda items. It's always nice to open this up and have discussion points. So thank you. Just a quick update. So 12.4 ends tomorrow, the 17th, and 12.5 begins on Friday, the 18th. I'm still trying to figure this out and learn it all myself, but from what I understand, so the 13th is when we should have had the release scope finalized with the deliverable labels. I think I was using those incorrectly at first, so I've adjusted it so that the deliverables map to, I guess, issues that have MRs with work that will that have MRs that will go into the release. So we have one issue with an MR that's currently in review. I wasn't sure that if we were trying to finalize the release scope by the 13th, but we still got the MR like merged in before the 17th, if that would count for 12.4. So is that Is that correct that it would still count for 12.4, or is it or is it something that we'd move to 12.5?
So I think we are you are talking about the merge request that I was referring before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's very close to being merged. So I think that is going to be included, I think. And tomorrow we have the whole day. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's something that I'm a little unclear on, being our first release milestone. So I think from reading the product workflow timeline, that's the case. But if anyone if anyone knows or knows if that's correct or incorrect, let me know. I guess I'll assume that I've got that that I'm understanding that correctly if no one's chiming in. Awesome. Okay. And then, yeah, just an update. We also have this other MR that Justin made. It's in UX review. I think it's, but I think it might miss the milestone. We'll see.
That's not making it.
Yeah. Well, the UX reviewer, I looked and they were out the last 2 days, so that's why it's taken a while.
Yeah,
but I guess there's a chance that it could make it in, so we'll see. But if not 12.4, it's definitely going in 12.5. And yeah, awesome job for, as Patrick pointed out, getting an MR merged in that affects the entire code base as your first one.
Amazing work, y'all. This is awesome.
Cool. And just a summary, yeah, for this milestone, we're on track to have closed out 9 issues, with 4 of those being deliverables with related MRs. So that's awesome. I think even just closing out these issues and doing the validation work is really important. So yeah, just nice job everyone for the first milestone. And there will be a retrospective that will kick off the 19th. And so an async retro issue will be created and everyone should be tagged on it. And so we'll just keep an eye out for that, and we'll get our first retrospective going. And then one more update from me regarding milestones. I'll transition our workflow board scope to be for 12.5 starting on Friday. So just a heads up on that. And then I have the next item as well, and this is just a reminder to fill out the Culture Amp survey that was sent out by People Group. Eric, VP of Engineering, posted in his channel on Slack just a reminder and a little bit of the why of why it's important to fill it out. It's as he's in his words, it's one of the best methods to positively influence change at your company. We, the execs, engineering management, really do read the results, share them transparently, and take action based on what's said. So just a reminder to make sure that that you take a look at it and fill it out, and let us know if you have any questions about it. All right, that's it for me. Looks like Patrick has the last item.
Yeah, a few things. I just want to say I'm working on the fiscal year 21 hiring updates. I just want to let everybody know that's what I'm working on. You'll see a lot of movement and some new issues, and I'm asking people for feedback and input, trying to get us some more support, add more people to this lovely team so that we can get some more awesome stuff done. So that's exciting. That's really cool. Let me know if there's anything, any issues that I open up, please give me your feedback. I'd love to kind of understand better what we're doing, and kind of linking in, maybe these are in the wrong order. Linking into the last item, I've added a new epic for the API and SDK work. That's been something that's been historically kind of underserved. And so my focus has been, as y'all have started on the outstanding bugs and security issues and trying to just get that shored up. But one of the things that we're going to have to focus on over the next year is expanding our work to the API and SDK support for developers, making it easier for developers to engage with, build upon, or build in GitLab. And so that's going to be a huge focus for us over the next year. And I've started to stand up what those epics should be and started to flesh out those issues So there's all of this stuff in there. I really love feedback. I really love your input. You know, we are the people who are making these things happen. So it's really valuable to me to make sure that everybody's getting a voice in there. So please go in through those. Please look at them. Please provide feedback where you have any thoughts. I really love to get all of your voices in those threads. And then kind of moving back up to B, we've got the customer advisory board is happening right now. We'll be getting an official output from that sometime in the next couple weeks. But one of the notes to mention is that API and SDK support, better support for CLI tooling, all of those developer needs have emerged as one of the top items of focus from our CAB members that were in attendance. This is a really big, really important thing for them. And the way to think about this is the work that we're doing with things like Jira is really important. It's really, really, really valuable. But we can't support everything. And so especially for these larger organizations that have lots and lots of little tools that they use, they want to be able to integrate with all of them. Right? Like they want to have hooks into our system where they can pull in information from everything. And so those developer resources are going to be increasingly important over time as we address more and more customers like that. And so that that is definitely emerging from the research that we're doing there. We're absolutely seeing customers saying the same. So so it's really exciting. It's really cool to see that they are interested in the things that we are making. So that's fun.
It's super exciting. No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. It's just the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just exciting. I don't know if anybody has any questions about the CAB stuff. I'd be happy to explain more. We're almost at time. Cool. Well, there we go. There we have it.
Awesome. All right. Does anyone have anything else? Cool. Well, thanks everyone. See y'all later. Good day or evening.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. We'll see y'all around. Bye.